And today's topic is children.
No.
Scary. I would have thought at your age you guys might have had kids by now.
Society didn't want us to have children because we were gay. If there were gay parents, they were invisible, right?
Would you guys say that was a regret of yours now?
Maybe. I'm a little bit too old for that.
Do you guys feel pressure to have kids?
There is some extremely big news. Nick and I are having a baby.
In our opinion,
Young, yeah.
I think you're young for a baby.
My husband, Ant, is actually adopted. Did you want to talk a little bit about your adoption story?
But I went through 2 years of foster care. Firstly, you're taken away from your biological parents.
Yeah.
And you're put into care. You almost feel worthless, like you don't have anyone around you to support you. There was also really horrible families that we went into
No, really.
that should not have fostered us, and we didn't last a week.
Do you know your biological parents?
No, and
You don't have to talk about that.
Hey guys, I'm Nick.
And I'm Ant.
And we're the new gays.
I'm Frank.
And I'm Dan.
And we're the old gays.
And this is Old Gays, New Gays.
This is the podcast where we compare all things gay through the lenses of 2 generations of LGBT couples.
And today's topic is children.
No.
Scary.
No children on planes, please.
Well, no. So the topic is kind of like as gay, well, the LGBTQ in general, how we have kids, surrogacy, adoption, why you guys didn't have kids, if we're going to have kids. Yeah, that's kind of what the topic is today. So I think first off, I mean, let's just start by kind of openly saying you guys are the older gays. And I would have thought maybe, you know, this is, I don't know how do I make this sound good. I would have thought at your age you guys might have had kids by now. Why didn't you guys have kids?
But that's something that we talked about a lot throughout our relationship. We talked about a lot, and I think it's something that we wanted.
Oh.
We
okay.
did want. I think we would have made great parents.
You would have
Yeah,
been
you would have.
such good dads. Oh my
Aw,
gosh.
thanks.
The kids would have been wearing like little Burberry outfits.
That is so true. Little Ralph Lauren scarves, briefcase.
Part of the
You'd be
throwback
great
clothing
dads.
industry.
But it's something that we talked about, but it never went to the next steps where we said, actually, we're going to do this, and we want to adopt kids and all that sort of stuff. And I think for me, and it'd be Dan could share his story. For me, I think when we met, we were in our let's say 30s, and so that part of my life, your career starts doing well, and you're making a level of income, and then you're traveling, and so our lives were quite busy. We enjoyed what was happening in our lives. We did want kids, but it was a conversation more than something that we got to the point where we're actually able to commit. And I think when we were able to commit, I felt, and people say it's never too old to adopt kids, but I felt sort of in my mid-40s that I thought maybe I'm a little bit too old for that. But that's how I felt.
But at that point you were ready, you said.
Well, in my 40s, late 40s, I thought, this is the time, because now we had our careers and we traveled and all that sort of stuff, and now, but at that point we thought, gosh, children when you're 50, and then when you're 60, child's going to be 10, so there's a big age gap. I don't know.
I think that those are concerns for everybody that's probably 40, and we did go through that. But there's some context here as well, right? For why maybe at our 40s we felt it was the right time to think about it, because in our 20s it wasn't possible, right? There just were, if there were gay parents, they were invisible, right? Oh. And gays couldn't adopt, gays couldn't get married, gays couldn't, if you came from a straight marriage and you had kids, your partner then couldn't adopt those kids. I mean, so there was a lot of pressure from society to not be gay parents. And even if you wanted children at an early age or at a young age, it would have been it wouldn't have been impossible, but it would have been almost insurmountable. So we kind of kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, and then our lives kind of took their own trajectory where we thought, we talked a lot about kids and wanting kids. We just weren't ever willing to take the extra hurdle, I think, that gay couples had to take during our generation to get to that point. And
would you guys say that was a regret of yours now?
I don't regret it. I don't regret it because we have a we have a really good life together and all sort of stuff. We have the things that we want, and we've both been successful. And all. So I don't regret it. And I don't know. I don't regret it, but I don't think the fact that we don't have kids and weren't able to get to that point to say, well, actually we're going to do it, tells me that actually we weren't 100% sure if we were ready to have kids, I think.
What's interesting, though, is we have straight friends today who use us as kind of their benchmark for thinking life is okay to not have kids.
Oh.
Because straight people have so much pressure to have children when they get together. And we've had straight friends to us to say, when we think about do we have kids or not, and in choosing not to, they're only role models for saying, no, we don't want to have kids, or, they're gay friends.
I love that.
And they look at us and say, you guys had a great life. Okay, we can still have a life without children if we choose not to. So it's interesting in that way too, that even straight people can kind of look at where we got to as a gay couple without children.
And can I just say,
the plot,
you guys I've witnessed in your life as well. You have Nick's cousins, Athena, and
you guys have a lot of nieces and nephews.
When we came and visited you guys, we actually felt like, as much as you are Nick's uncles, you actually took care of us so much. Like, almost felt like at some points we were your own kids.
Yeah.
They buy me little Burberry outfits. Not yet.
That's great. Well, to be honest with you, I think to your point, we are both very blessed with large extended families, and we're very close to our large extended families, and I do think that's helped as well.
Yeah.
We are very close to all of our nieces and nephews, and and
we enjoy it as well. It's I mean, it's a very, his family and our family, being sort of having that Italian background, it's very, you invite the family, you invite the kids and all sort of stuff. They spend time at your house and all that sort of stuff. So it's good that you felt it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we enjoy doing that. We generally enjoy doing that.
So I want to ask you guys this, because I at least almost felt like society didn't want us to have children because we were gay. I think that's shifted now. Do you guys feel pressure to have kids?
We might have two very different answers.
I like where this is going, but before I touch upon what we would want, I kind of touch upon one other thing with the older gays. So, Dan, I think you were saying that there were very little gay couples having kids, back in the day. For those that were having kids, the few rare ones, what was kind of like the people's perspective of gay parents back then?
We have friends, and hopefully we'll get around to talking about it and all that sort of stuff. The perception was really good, certainly in this country.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
we were living in London.
What generation are you talking about?
No, our generation.
Yeah, but this is us in our 40s. When you were in your 20s and 30s.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Parents?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
and
we were in our 20s and 30s.
Yeah, and if there were, how were they perceived? Or how did you perceive gay couples when you were not even out of the closet,
I didn't know any. You just didn't hear or see them.
Yeah, I don't think it was a thing. Yeah, I don't remember anybody actually having kids.
But this is the
thing.
I grew up thinking it wasn't possible, that if you came out as a gay man, you just had to give up having kids.
Wow.
Actually, it's one of the reasons why I dated women early in my life, was because I thought that's the only way to have kids in a family. And then I thought, I'd rather have gay sex.
Fair enough.
That's the truth.
You're like, geez, I mean, he's
that's
not
right.
wrong. He's not wrong.
I'll give up the kids.
You guys have depicted that so well. There was no visibility for you when you were younger. You had no one to look up to. And that's completely changed in our generation, because we have so many gay dads with kids, with beautiful families.
Yeah.
But when you guys were growing up, you thought it was just impossible to have a family.
But that's where it's always really important to keep in mind that the older gay generation fought for a lot of rights. Where we look at it today, and we have the benefits of what they fought for really hard in terms of rights, in terms of adoption, in terms of medical, in terms of traveling and all sort of stuff.
Marriage.
And
which
marriage,
makes a big part
yeah.
of
Marriage
being
is
able to
Hugely,
take care of 2 kids.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
Or
right,
kids.
guys.
Yeah.
Respect your old gays.
So your
right.
perspective,
your elders. No, sorry.
Not just for the Burberry.
Yeah.
you'd almost encourage the younger generation. Hey guys, we fought for this. You better have kids.
Better have those
Wow.
kids now.
Well, that's
Better
what I was
get married.
wondering if you guys feel that pressure because
Yeah.
it is. You guys now have so many, both by science and law. You have so many options to create families that we just didn't have.
I think we have 2 different answers. So you go first.
So what's the question?
Are you not listening?
Well, no, but it was
Would you
It's like him in class. He just-
would you want kids?
would I want kids? That's the question. Okay. So Ant and I have thought about kids. It's actually probably our most asked question on social media.
Is that right?
Oh, if me and Ant go live,
Wow.
it's either how did you guys meet or will you have kids? That's like our most asked question.
Do you want kids?
I think I do. I don't want multiple kids. I think I only want the one. And I think I definitely want a girl.
We're having kids.
We're having a kid.
And would you,
We're having a
would
baby.
Would you have it later in life? Would you have? Is that something?
Yeah. So
You're not surprising us today with that, are you?
guys,
Okay.
I'm pregnant.
Oh,
No, I'm joking.
No, guys, I actually have something to say. Like,
Oh.
there is some extremely big news,
Okay.
and Nick and I are having a baby.
It's this podcast, though. That's the baby. The baby's the podcast.
All right. Did you hear silence?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
We're
like, gosh, I'm not sure how to react to this.
How would you guys react if we had a baby? Like right now, at our current state in life.
I think it'd be great. I'd be shocked, but I think it'd be great.
You
Look,
did not sound promising.
Lies.
I think it's very exciting that you can. And if you want it, I hope you do. I think you guys are, in our opinion,
Young, yeah.
I think you're young for a baby.
Agreed.
All right, so let me go back to the question, which was when.
sec.
Well, no,
Because I really want
now
to
we're.
just touch on that because right now, my answer to that, will you have kids? I feel way too young right now to have kids.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't feel ready. I'm 25. And that being said, there's so much pressure on social media to have kids. You see these really extremely young parents having kids. And some, you look at them and you're like, yeah, you are great parents. I don't care if you're 25. You're killing it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not impossible. They're great
No,
parents
yeah.
at young ages, but you do give up a huge part of your
Oh
life.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we're just at a point in our career right now where we've just bought a house in London, we're making friends, we're going to events, we're getting busy. So I think it'd be a horrible time not to have
Still trying to
kid.
find and solidify our career and like make
Yeah.
it stable enough for us so that then we can comfortably bring in a kid.
I will tell you this, though, guys. Just being an older generation and seeing many families, both young having children and older having children, I don't know that anybody ever feels prepared enough to have a kid. So if that's the reason you're waiting to not have kids, it's just money and stability. Yes, that's clever and that's probably responsible. But
Enough is never going to feel enough.
yeah, I think
And also,
I'll
I
just give
think
you the opposite advice. What I said before.
But
Fine,
also,
I'll
I
adopt.
think you have to be realistic in terms of how your life will change when you have a child. Change from the things that you do, change from who you hang out with, change from how you travel.
So-
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
everything changes when
Everything,
you have a
yeah.
child.
Having a
So-
cat is enough. Like that changes
Jeez,
our
if
travel
that's-
plans.
If that's too much, then imagine a kid.
I mean, that's why we're not having a dog yet. Because
That's
I
right.
feel like having a cat is one thing. Then you get a dog, and then once you're okay with a dog, you're ready for a kid. Because dogs change travel plans so much. A cat is okay for 2
You're
nights.
talking to people with 3 dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I think we will have a kid when I'm in my very early 30s. So I think that's the kind of age.
How young you are sometimes. Yes.
Well, that's not too. I mean, it's not
Well-
like 20 years from now.
How old do you think I am?
No, but
Still
you know
a
what I mean.
twink.
It's relatively quick. Like if
Well, it's like 5, 6, 7 years.
I think there's a different perspective because when you had to be closeted for so long, and that's part of the reason why you guys only met when you were around about 30, which I feel is a common thing for the older generation. The younger gays, I feel, are meeting so much younger.
I don't think it's why. I don't think the closet had anything to do with why we met, but it's definitely why we got married because it just wasn't possible.
Yeah. Sorry about the wording. But the younger gays have so many avenues to meet that we're meeting so much younger. And therefore, like Nick and I, we were 18 and 19 when we met. We've already been together for almost 7 years.
Yeah,
By
yeah.
the time
Yeah.
we're 30, we're going to be together for 13 to 14 years. And at that point, a lot of
Yeah.
couples, I think, will have kids.
Yeah, and I think that's why I was saying that that's a
exciting.
realistic
I think it's
number.
exciting to think about it.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't even lie. Like, even to like at my age today, like I've had like instances where I've had baby fever. But I would totally see us like a little girl.
And it's so cute when you come up to me and you're like, and I can see myself plaiting the hair. But if it's a boy, you're playing sports with them because I'm not playing
I don't
sports.
wanna
So why girl? I kind of
I relate to women so much more. I mean, all my friends growing up were women. I was so close to my mom and my sister. Like,
Yeah.
I've always been closer to women, so I understand them very, very well.
Yeah.
Versus boys. I mean, if he turns out gay, yeah, we have a lot in common. But if he's straight, ooh. Sorry, that sounds horrible.
He's joking. I just want to say
I'm
that
joking.
as a joke.
I'm joking, but I do see myself with a girl. I think I would be better
Absolutely.
off raising a girl than a guy.
And I would be so much better at raising a guy. So I think that's why we're pretty comfortable, because growing up I had no girlfriends really. My parents kept it a secret, everything that was going on with my sister growing up through teenage years. So to do with girls, I know absolutely nothing. But guys, I'm a guy. Of course I know how to bring up a guy.
I do think though, you when a child comes into your life, you love them no matter what they are.
Yeah.
And I think I think straight parents have to raise gay children, gay parents raise straight children, and I think you need to be, if you want to be parents, you're gonna have to be open to
Yeah.
a child being anything and everything.
Absolutely. And guess what? In this generation, some parents do not accept their kids being gay and coming out to them. And at that point,
Still happens a lot.
Is the opposite like us gays not accepting someone if he's straight? No, you're not gonna be straight.
because your little girl might turn out to be a lesbian. And
yeah, of
she
course.
might be sporty and
Yeah, that's the
She
thing,
might be
yeah.
You know?
want to be a boy
Yeah.
when she grows up.
Yeah.
This is the
she
thing.
could
This is the
be
thing. Yeah.
transgender.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think with us, we're obviously going to accept that. But some parents don't. And at that point, I feel like you should not have had kids.
Yeah.
If you're not going to accept and love and nurture that
Well, I
kid
think it's a
growing up and
journey.
support
Yeah.
them.
Right.
Yeah.
Parenthood is a journey, and you might not end up where you started or thought you were going to go. I do think it really is, and it's a journey that that becomes a critical part of your body and life. Right. It's not like a job. You can't quit and transition and do something else. It's a journey for life.
So the third most asked question is, if we do have kids, what route would we go down? Because like Dan said, we have so many options now. So I think, and I don't know if people know this or not, but my husband, Ant, is actually adopted. And so I think we would like to give back to the system and adopt as well.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk a little bit about your adoption story in case people that are listening don't know?
Wait a sec. We didn't know actually.
Wait,
We didn't
what?
know. No, we
You
didn't know at
that we-
all.
I was
Actually,
about to-
okay.
I mean, I never talk about it because
Yeah.
it's something just happened in my life, and it was a very negative point of my life growing up. I guess it's my childhood trauma, right? And now that I got adopted into a really loving family that care about me a lot, and my life turned out great. Like, I love my life right now, and therefore I don't talk about it because going back to a period of trauma, and it's not my life anymore.
How
And
old were you? Just
I was really young. I was like 3 or 4 years old.
okay.
So you're not meant to remember anything about being 3 or 4 years old, but I remember so much
Wow.
vividly in my memories.
Okay.
And that's so abnormal for a young kid to remember their life. But I don't talk about it because I love my life right now, and I don't want to go back to that point. And I'm so grateful for my parents adopting me, and without them, I would not have had this life. So I feel like I got a second chance.
So your parents, they've adopted you when you were three or 4 years of age.
They adopted me when I was like 5 or 6.
Okay.
But I went through 2 years of foster care.
Okay.
And
okay.
foster care is extremely hard because you're put with, firstly, you're taken away from your biological parents.
Yeah.
And you're put into care.
Yeah.
And in that system, you wait for other families to come and foster you. And in that moment, you feel very unloved. You don't know what's going on because you're so young, in my case. And I think you almost feel worthless and unloved. And I think that's the worst thing Like you don't have anyone around you to support you.
There's probably a sense of abandonment because
I would say so. And I still struggle with that today because I do really, really well when I have someone next to me who believes in me and is very open with their belief in me. If someone around me does not believe in me, I will not do well. But I need that encouragement externally for that belief, and it reassures me. But being put into care is a really bad moment, and you wait for people to foster you, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna, and they almost give you the first step in that second chance. So I was fostered through 3 or 4 families over a year or two, and some were really good, and I really appreciate them, and they were great families, and actually the system almost wanted them to adopt me. They didn't. They adopted more people, and they were very used to the process. There was also really horrible families that we went into that should not have fostered us. And I remember one time I was locked in a room. It was thunder and lightning. I'd just been taken away from my parents. I think this was the first foster home that I went into, and we didn't last a week. I was crying every night. I was on a blow-up mattress on the floor in a cold room, and guess what?
Gosh.
They didn't even allow me to be in the same room as my sister. All I wanted to do was be in her bed, cuddle, and just like comfort each other, because it was only us. We'd both been taken away from our parents and shoved in this cold room. And yeah, that was probably my worst experience in foster care.
It's surprising that they do that they separate the kids like that. I don't understand, because it's so traumatic.
I would assume there's laws now that you can't.
Yeah.
Or at least there must be laws, better laws now.
Yeah, I hope
about
so.
fostering kids. I think because that was like in the very early 2000s. I think even back then there wasn't many, strict laws about.
And here's the worst thing: my relationship with my brother is like one of my biggest regrets that I could not have changed, because my relationship with him, he feels like more of a friend than a brother, and that kills me, because we try so hard to talk to each other and be there for each other and be like brothers, but deep down blood, like we are brothers, because we look the same, we act the same, we get on so well, like it's so obvious we are brothers, and I love that. But in the perspective, like I never got to grow up with him, I never got into fights with him, punched him like brothers do, and these are the things that
bond.
I did that with my sister, right? And I can say, fuck, we bullied each other, we screamed at each other, we blamed each other growing up. But you are my sister, and I just wish I had that same experience with my brother.
Do you think that's going to change as you get older, you and your brother, that just as you get older, you mature and all that sort of stuff, that maybe you're gonna feel closer, more, have that sort of brother relationship with him?
I think it's different, because I think it stemmed from such a young age where you build that real connection and you grow up. I feel like it's always going to be different now with my brother.
It's close, but a different close.
Yeah. And we are seeing each other more frequently. I have him up in London. I go down there and see him. We go out for dinners, and we are making more of an effort to see each other. I would really love it to be at a stage like it is with my sister. I don't need to make the effort, because like I've seen her my whole life, right? Yeah. I'm just like, I'll see you, but it's not it's such a big thing. When I see my brother, God, I didn't spend enough time with him as a kid. We were separated. And so every moment we go to spend together is like so special, which is a positive and a negative, I guess.
Yeah.
What, so your parents, obviously a straight couple, adopted you.
Yeah.
And then you came out as gay.
Yeah.
How was that when you came out to them? Was it because you were adopted? Was there any issues there at all, or?
See, look, no. In fact, I think my parents are so good at being adoptive parents, and I would class them as my real parents now. Anyway, they're not biologically my real parents, but they're the ones that grew up with me and took care of me from for 22 years of my life right now. That's the majority. I'm only 25, right? So they're my parents. They've been my parents forever, really. They are such good parents and loving and caring. And the fact is, like, I wouldn't be so happy in today if they don't accept me for who I was.
Well, they are your parents.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, I think his parents are very, very what's the word, like
kind and caring.
Yeah, but they're like not liberal, but like They're
Okay.
super progressive. Like his
Yeah.
parents
Yeah.
are more progressive than I
Amazing.
am
Oh
as a
my
gay man.
goodness.
Like, just tell you.
Yeah.
So I think, and that's the type of people I think that should be adopting, because if you're going out of your way to adopt children, and they turn out gay and you're abandoning them again, that's just horrible. So it's because it's one thing if you have your own baby, because I think a lot of times, sometimes it is a mistake or whatever, but but if you're actively going in there and adopting a kid because you're ready, you have to be ready for everything.
Yeah. Do you know your biological parents?
No, and
You don't have to talk about that. If you're
I would
uncomfortable.
talk about it. I think it's fine. I think this is the only thing I will talk about today,
Okay,
though,
okay.
is because like I don't know if I have a dad.
Yeah,
Like I never knew.
Well, you do.
Yeah.
You don't know your dad.
Technically, yeah.
But it's interesting because like these kind of traumas bring up so many questions, by the way, because like I don't know, never knew him. I've never seen a picture of him. I don't know his name. I don't know who my dad is. I know my biological mum's name. I know that she had a boyfriend, but I also know that they broke up and she had multiple boyfriends. I don't know if my dad is one of her friends that she got with and had a thing with, and I was produced. Like, I just don't know if I ever had, like, I don't know them, right?
Doesn't matter though, does it?
Yeah. No, I know for me it doesn't
'Cause your
matter.
parents,
It's
your
just
real
questions that I'm very interested in
Yeah.
finding out eventually, and ever since I was adopted, I haven't seen them.
I think it's incredible, actually. And you look at yourself today, and you're a super guy, actually. So you should be super proud. It's impressive.
I'm just so
It's really,
lucky
really
to
good.
be brought into
Yeah.
a loving family, really.
Well, I also think
Yeah.
it's a testament to what we're talking about is gay parents adopting, right? And it's not about whether you have straight parents or gay parents. It's about having loving parents.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
about having parents who are committed to the job that they've signed up to do by adopting you. And, because gays didn't have the right to both jointly adopt. It started out that a single guy could adopt. I mean, we have actually a story of a friend of ours who adopted, and back before it was legal for two guys to adopt the baby together at the same time.
So yeah, you guys were saying, so obviously now I guess it's a lot easier for like gays and straights to adopt, but I know you guys have a story about a couple friend that you guys have that had to adopt as a gay couple back in the day when it was illegal in some countries. What's that story?
Yeah, so some countries, as you say, it was illegal. In some countries, it was legal.
Okay.
And what was interesting is the couple that we know, like many couples that were adopting at the time, was that certain countries it was easier to adopt because of, there was a lot of adoptions in a particular country. And so for them, they chose a country in South America because it was easier to adopt a child in South America. But they couldn't be a gay couple in that particular country adopting a child. Yeah. And so one of them had to do the process and had to be a straight guy in order to be able to adopt the child.
Wow, but did they not ask like where's the mother or?
Well, no, they didn't actually.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know all the fine details of the story. We only know what they've shared with us, and I think we won't say who they are, but I think they'd be okay sharing this because it was their journey that they were forced to take in order to get children.
Yeah.
So they were almost more willing to let a single straight dad adopt a kid than a gay couple.
Well,
Yeah,
in this
yeah, yeah.
particular country, from what I understand, they wouldn't allow gay adoption at all, period. So if you went in and you were openly gay, you wouldn't get a kid. You couldn't adopt a
So
kid.
he had to pretend to be straight.
Yeah, okay.
And he managed to adopt a kid.
He managed to pretend. No, I mean, so
The top did it.
So but once I believe once they got back into the country that they adopted in, which I think at that time it might have been the U.S., that they both adopted at that point. But I guess the point of the story is gays had to get really inventive if they wanted to have children back in the day, and oftentimes had to lie in order to build the family that they wanted to have, and I think that's one of the benefits of your generation is I think it's not perfect. There's a lot of countries that are still really horrible about it, We happen to live in a very progressive country right now in the UK, where they've now made it legal for gay people to adopt children.
Yeah.
But it's not it hasn't been an easy journey for a lot of gays that wanted kids early.
But it wasn't impossible, so they've done it, and actually they adopted 2 children from
lovely.
South America, and I mean, you look at them today; they're
Beautiful
super
children.
happy
And really
very
lovely
well
family,
adjusted.
and a really
Good.
lovely family. Yeah,
It's
they
really
were-
impressive.
And they
yeah.
were almost denied that loving family
yeah.
because of the system
simply
and the
because of their
rules.
Because of-
sexuality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their sexuality, yeah.
Yeah.
And
And I think, oh, sorry.
no, that's just another way the system and the rules are failing people.
Yeah.
So how will you guys get a child?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you gonna
do? So actually, funny enough, our
Yeah.
gay friends just went through the adoption process in the
Yes.
UK, and it's gone. From what we're hearing, it's gone amazingly.
Excellent.
And they had.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, all the
They
gays.
didn't
That's
have
right.
any like struggles with the fact that they were gay. There was nothing. There was no issues.
Yeah.
They were just seeing whether they were fit parents or not. That's all it was.
It was the same process if you're a straight couple or a gay couple.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
It should
So,
be.
and I think seeing them go through that and seeing how easy it was
Yeah.
would make us want to adopt even more. And because like I get surrogacies, don't get me wrong, and I get wanting to have your own children, but after seeing what my husband's been through and everything, I just think there are more kids that need adopting and need loving homes than I need to have my own kid. You know what I mean?
I agree.
And-
I completely
And
agree
I
with
think
that.
what we've learned is that they are your own kid, regardless
Yeah.
of if they come from my sperm or
Yeah.
from someone else's.
And our friends were telling us how, there are just so many kids in foster care that are waiting and want to be loved and put into a loving family. And I have nothing against wanting your own kid. I kind of would like my own kid. It's like got your DNA in it. I know how my brother and I are so alike because we share the same DNA, and like
Yeah.
that's how we bond. And just having that extra level of bonding with a kid that shares a DNA, shares who you are. It would be nice to have a mini me running around, but at the same time, I know just how much it means to have like a loving parents pick you up and give you that second chance in life, and that's where I think we want to adopt.
And I assume that, I mean, we don't know, but I assume that when you adopt a child, once you physically get that child, you feel that it is yours.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? It is
Yeah.
yours.
Yeah.
What about you guys? So you guys were saying at some point, you might have been ready to have kids. Let's just say situations change. Would you guys have adopted, surrogacy, or what would you guys have done?
I think my first gut reaction is similar to what you said, and my first gut reaction is, man, it'd be nice to have somebody from one of our backgrounds, but at the same time, I would have been completely open to and very happy to adopt a child, and it probably would have been the route we would have taken. I think is to adopt rather than do something like surrogate. I mean, surrogacy it has its own challenges, and it's, especially in the UK, because you can't pay a surrogate. So
Oh,
a
you
lot
can't?
of gays back in the day, very famous ones like Elton John, I think.
Oh, really?
Surrogated through the U.S., where it's easier to surrogate children. I could be wrong about that.
Wow. Okay,
But,
so you can't pay. So you can't pay surrogates in the UK.
Yeah.
So surrogacy is legal. I think in the UK it is legal.
Okay.
But there can't be a contract versus in North America.
Yeah.
You can pay
There's a
somebody.
contract
Oh,
between
right.
the parties that say, I'll pay you
And it's
X amount.
expensive too, right?
And it's expensive.
Yeah.
I hear like
Versus in this
100K for a
country,
kid.
But
you can't have a
but-
legal contract.
But you've got other complications then, because then you've got a child that's born in the United States with no UK passport.
Yes.
Do they
So
not
it's
have
not
a US passport
easy.
too?
You have to jump through hoops, but
They would have a passport.
I think.
So
Look, I
it
think
would-
it's. I don't know what.
I don't know.
I can't. We're
I
not
think you're
experts on this,
dual
but-
at that point. I think if you have a you let's just take our example. We're two British. We go to the US for a surrogacy, and we have a US kid born on US soil. They all get a US passport, will come back to the UK, and then they can get a
I don't-
UK and US.
I think if you're looking into this, I'd consult a lawyer. And
Yeah,
not us.
not me. You know,
Consult the
We're the
guys
best
that
legal
did have
experts
kids.
on this.
I think-
Before you go pay a woman to have a baby,
I think-
please check with your lawyers.
I think they would. I think
That
they
was
would
not
definitely
advice.
have a British passport. I'm not sure about the American passport because it's probably a longer
don't know.
process.
We just
Well,
don't
no,
know.
I know. We
But
don't
I
know.
mean, but also we have friends that have gone the surrogate way as well, and fondly enough, they've all gone through the U.S., so that makes sense.
They just wanted that visa. No, I'm just kidding.
Going through a baby to get your visa? That's crazy.
Aw. Well, good. I hope you guys do. I think you'll have. We had a great life with no children, but I also think you can have a fantastic opportunity to give a child a good life. You're good kids, and I think you'll be good parents.
Thank you.
It's exciting.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe I kind of want to adopt tomorrow now.
Think real hard who has to be the godparents.
Oh, you 1,000%.
I think you'll be the best godparent.
Gay parents, gay godparents. Perfect.
Only if you buy them a Burberry bag.
The Burberry school bag.
We have a lot of hand-downs.
Yeah. Fair enough. Wow.
Oh.
What an episode.
So I guess we found out in this episode that we're gonna have I guess this is the official, like, us saying we will have a kid. So for those that have the constant question, that's been answered. Good. And I think we will be adopting.
And I think we also know who our godparents will be.
We answered a lot of questions in this podcast.
That's right.
And we also know the route in which we're going to be having kids as well.
Yeah.
That's very exciting.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you so much to the older gays for joining us on today's episode. We are the younger gays. And if you want to follow any of us on social media or keep up to future episodes, all the links will be down below somewhere.
Yeah, guys. And that's it. Well,
All
thank y'all
right.
for joining. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.